I mean, I think that it's really been shifting over the last 10 years. We have this really interesting confluence we have new modalities, and the mRNA drugs are an example of this era of cell and gene therapy that's coming into the world. And so for a long time, up until we had Genentech, we had the world of small molecules, and then that really ushered in a really amazing way this era of biologics. And it's not that those things are going away, because they're very valuable, and there will continue to be really breakthrough medicines in both of those classes. But we have breakthrough into these new modalities that have come out. We also have more powerful systems to prosecute things through automation and big data and informatics, right? And so we've seen huge leaps forward in computers. And then, you also put that through, I think we're also learning how to manage and to build and to run companies and to do things like clinical trials in even more targeted and thoughtful and meaningful ways. And what I'm really hopeful for is that I think these kind of segments or those different factors I just elucidated are going to lead to incredible disruptive innovation over the next little bit. And so I'm very hopeful for what will happen for medicine, what will happen for patients. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for the industry, for regulators, for individuals within the supply chain or sort of the commercialization components to really be incredibly different in the way that we design and develop and bring therapies to markets and what that's going to mean for the world. So I'm excited about it, and I think the people who are sitting in this room are going to be the ones that actually end up doing it. So keep doing what you're doing, and we'll try not to steal a lot of you to Boston.
Yep, I'm glad you went first on that one with you guys. It brings me to my point. So it's good that you talk about that we're in an ecosystem, right? And we got all these years of dedication of science to get to this point with mRNA and cell therapy and gene therapy and all the different vectors and things that come with it. But one of the things we're missing in the ecosystem is the equity in that ecosystem, right? So we're kind of putting the cart before the horse, right? I know last year you guys probably read the headlines that the human genome has been completed, right? I told you I worked at Human Genome Sciences, so they was all hoorah at that time when I worked there during those years. But the biggest secret is that that human genome is 99.9% Caucasian male. So we're building these gene vectors, we're building these different drugs, we're getting into AI and machine learning off a library that does not represent not only us in the United States, it don't represent you in this room, it don't represent the people around the globe, right? Which bring us back to where we're at with some of these medications, especially those medications that are being developed for diseases that most adversely affect people of color, of not being truly efficacious, right? There's a reason as a diabetic that you gotta take the cholesterol and the cardiovascular medication and all these different things. I notice I have this in my family, prevalent, right? But when you get to the point and do something what Ted built for sickle cell and build upon that technology to the point where it actually works, and he has a second iteration to make it work better, that's where we need to get with the mRNA and the cell therapy and gene therapy. So we gotta have folks like you that are willing to take the risk, right? Whether you're a software engineer, whether you're in the science part of drug development, whether you're in business, whether you're in finance, right? It's one thing for us to build this thing, for example, what I'm building, which is the genomic biobank with AI machine learning, and we're going after to build a human genome for people of color, right? We're unique at doing that, but it's not gonna have any impact if I don't have the business people and the right finance people to convince investors to put money into that machine, right? The product is never gonna get out there. So just something to think about as we're talking about gene therapy and ecosystem. We have to figure out a way to integrate the equity piece a lot faster than what we're doing.